Rundown on Bakersfield.com and the CSUB Roadrunners Digital Network. Live from the Dignity Health Studios in downtown Bakersfield, California.
Welcome in once again to Roadrunner Rundown, the official program, CSU Bakersfield Roadrunner Athletics. I'm Corey Costo. Thanks so much for joining us once again on the program. A phenomenal show planned for you. Like I said, normally I lie about that. Not today. We got a great program coming up. We're gonna flip the script a little bit. All right, second week in a row, we're gonna turn things upside down. Coming up on the program, in the next segment, we'll speak with Xavier Johnson, associate women's basketball head coach, along with assistant women's coach Zack Grasmick, and interim athletics director Ziggy Siegfried joining us on the program as well to recap the fall sports. In the final segment today, we'll get to all the news and highlights from a big weekend of action, women's basketball, men's basketball, volleyball, and the NCAA tournament. All that is coming up on the program. But like I said, we're going to flip the script a little bit for the second week in a row because we got a concert coming up. Last week, we flipped the script and we had Truxton Mile, the opening act, in studio. Today, as we get ready for the Thursday's Roadrunner Scholarship Fund concert at the Fox Theater featuring Easton Corbin, we are now going to welcome to the program a winner of 3 ACA awards in 2010, a two-time #1 hit producing recording artist. He's playing at the Majestic Fox Theater on Thursday night to benefit the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund. Welcome to the program now from Nashville, Tennessee. Right now is where he's hanging out, Easton Corbin. Easton, thanks so much for joining us on the program, man. How you doing?
Hey guys, what's up, man? I'm doing great.
Well, first of all, are you just kind of enjoying a rare day off? I mean, you're just kind of hanging out at home, right?
Yeah, well, we've been pretty busy out on the road, and in fact, this is like one day that I have off out of 2 weeks. So I'm definitely relishing the moment.
Well, I noticed you were in Farmington, New Mexico a couple nights ago. Let me promise you, Bakersfield, California is a thriving metropolis in comparison. Okay.
Well, I'm hoping on it. For sure.
You'll have a great time. First of all, by the way, folks, Easton's playing as part of the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund benefit concert Thursday night at the Fox Theater. The good folks at Bob Bender Productions helping us put this show on. I was reading something about your upbringing and your influences. It said you were kind of introduced to country music by watching Hee Haw, which, of course, was a Buck Owens production. So coming to Buck's hometown must be something that's pretty special for you.
Well, yeah, I don't know if I was introduced to country music just for that, but I grew up with my grandparents a lot, and one thing on Saturday night, we always watch the Grand Ole Opry, and Hee Haw was always on, and Statler Brothers and things. So I was really introduced to country music through my grandparents and my parents, and I love Merle Haggard, and of course that sounds well.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you ever been through Bakersfield before? Any history with the Bakersfield sound, or is this going to be your first trek out here?
Well, I've been through Bakersfield and done a few things, but I haven't actually played a show out there. So this will be the first show I actually get to play out there, so I'm pretty excited about it.
I know lately in Nashville, a lot's been made about the Bakersfield sound. I know it's at the Country Music Hall of Fame. And any influence with that? You grew up listening to any of those guys by any chance?
Well, again, Merle Haggard, he was part of that. And Merle Haggard's my hero. So, of course, his big influence was Buck Owens, too. And so, yeah, I'm excited.
I know you're originally from Trenton, Florida. So a Gator by birth and association, having attended the University of Florida. But you had an agribusiness degree, and so I guess you planned ahead just in case this music thing didn't work out, right?
Just in case it didn't work out, but I'm glad it did for sure.
Well, we're gonna make you. We'll let the Florida Gator thing slide. We're gonna make you an honorary CSU Bakersfield Roadrunner for the night. We won't tell anyone. Right. It'll be our little secret, especially because you're helping us raise money for scholarship fund and student athlete scholarship. So is that okay with you?
That's fine with me, buddy. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, sounds good. Now I know your first album was released a little over 4 years ago, and are you kind of surprised how fast your career has sort of evolved from that first album to where you're at now?
Well, when you're out there, on the road and stuff, and you're having a good time, it really goes by fast. And but we've been having a great time out there, and I'm just blessed to be here.
Now, are you kind of, as you mentioned, you spend a ton of time on the road. Do you look at these country, the legends, the guys have been doing this for a long time, and say, how have these guys been able to do this for so long?
Well, it's definitely, amazing to see these guys that, it's been working for 30, 40 years, it's definitely, when you get to doing it like that, it's a job sometimes. But, when you got there and you're making great music and people love it, it's also, it's just a great opportunity. And, there's a lot worse things you could be doing for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, was there a moment? I asked your opening act, Truxton Mile, who's a local group going to be opening for you on Thursday. I asked them last week on the show about some of their major influences performing. Was there maybe a concert or something that you or a performer you saw maybe coming up and that moment clicked and you said, "That's what I want to do. That I want to be like that guy."
It's funny. I've kind of always wanted to do this for a living, because I've just always loved it, and I've always, I can remember since I was a kid, this is what I wanted to do.
I was checking something out the other day. I was watching some of your videos and stuff, and I thought, you know what? You got to be the smartest man in country music. And let me tell you why. And maybe you have an idea, but I'm watching your videos, and you've chosen to write and record songs that basically require you to make out with good-looking women in every one of your videos. So you are not a stupid man, my friend.
Well, I give that to my director to direct those videos. So he does a really good job. So
Yeah.
I'll give him that credit.
A really good job. Just hang out with tens all day. Not a bad gig at all. Well, I know ticket sales are going great. We expect a full house on Thursday night. This is going to be an awesome venue. It's old. It's been around a while, but it's a great theater. It's majestic, and the stage is a historical place. A lot of great acts have played. Has there been maybe one or two concerts that you've played that you said, you really wanted to play at a certain place, or a really special concert you've played in the last 4 years or so that, really made you appreciative of the job you're doing?
Well, anytime you get to play the Ryman Auditorium, that's always a huge deal. And so that's probably one of those moments.
Nice. And what would you say? I mean, we talked a little bit about your Bakersfield sound influences, but was there other acts? I mean, other musical influences that really kind of influenced the sound that you've chosen to record?
Yeah, absolutely. George Jones. I love George Jones. I love Keith Whitley.
Nice, and so obviously a lot of varying influences on there as well. And you have another show after us coming up in Riverside. It's a little bit of a West Coast swing, so good luck with those as well. But we will see you on Thursday night. And welcome to Bakersfield. And like I said, we'll see you Thursday at the Fox Theater. The folks, ticket sales are great, and the folks are really looking forward to seeing you. So I appreciate you joining us on the show, and we'll see you on Thursday, my friend.
All right, see you there, buddy. Thank you.
All right, Easton Corbin here on Roadrunner Rundown. There you have it. He'll be here on Thursday night as he will be benefiting the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund. Tickets are still available. They're available at valleytix.com, the Fox Theater box office, or any ValleyTix location, including the Emporium Western store. There's a few really good seats left, but there's not many seats left in that house. This thing has sold very well, so make sure you get your tickets for that. Don't wait till the last minute because you might not get a great seat for the concert coming up at the Fox Theater. Second year in a row we've done this. We did it last year with Winona. It was a lot of fun, and now we get to do it with Easton Corbin. And again, my thanks to the good folks at Bob Bender Productions. Bob's been a big supporter of the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund, and he said, "You know what? Let's do a concert. I'm in the concert making business. Let's do a concert, and we'll put the money towards the scholarship fund." So thanks to him. Big fundraiser last year. Hoping for the same this year. Thursday night at the Fox Theater. Easton Corbin and a special guest, Truxton Mile, is going to be joining him on stage as well. Going to be a lot of fun. We're going to step away and take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some women's basketball. We've got Xavier Johnson, associate head coach, and assistant coach Zack Grasmick coming in studio. Bakersfield's on a 5-game winning streak right now, so we'll chat with them about that and their upcoming games in the state of Nebraska. They've got 2 coming up this week. We'll talk with them about that chilly Midwest swing. That's coming up next. We're right back. This is Roadrunner Rundown.
One thing about living in Kern County is all the great schools.
East High! BHS! EC! CSU!
And no matter what school you go to, there's still one thing.
One thing! One thing!
We can all agree on. Kern Schools is the #1 financial institution in all of Kern County.
Take advantage of our auto rates as low as 1.99 APR with no payments up to 90 days.
Kern Schools, the biggest little credit union in town.
This is Dignity, the smile given to a sick child, the steps taken to find a cure, future leaders learning to make a difference, humanitarians who give from the heart, and a love that comes from above. At Mercy and Memorial Hospitals, dignity is more than just a word. It's who we are.
Welcome, everyone. Nissan of Bakersfield has everything for the perfect car buying experience. Like our beautiful showroom, full of the most popular Nissan models for you to explore. And our fully stocked parts and service department, from everything from genuine Nissan accessories to factory-trained service technicians to keep your car running its best. Plus, our massive inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles means you're guaranteed to find the right one for you. Nissan of Bakersfield is where you should buy your next car.
Save 50 to 90% with the Bakersfield Californians Daily Deal featured on Bakersfield.com. A daily deal is offered each weekday on services from local restaurants, dry cleaners, health and beauty services, retail shops, and local activities for the entire family. The daily deal is 100% local. Find these amazing deals only at dailydeal.bakersfield.com.
Live in concert, Thursday evening, December 11th, at the Majestic Fox Theater. #1 country recording artist Easton Corbin, plus special guest Truxton Miles. Presented by CSU Roadrunner Athletics and Motor City Auto Center. Tickets on sale at the Fox Theater box office in all Valley Tix outlets.
In a fertile valley, a growing university with record enrollment and graduates serving the needs of a thriving community, a tradition of athletic excellence. Now a part of the Western Athletic Conference. CSU Bakersfield.
Welcome back to Roadrunner Rundown. My thanks to Easton Corbin joining us on the program. He will be the headline act on Thursday night at the Fox Theater. Tickets still available. Not many, but there are a few left for the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund concert presented by Motor City Auto Center. The good folks out there helping out with this. And, of course, Bob Bender Production as well. You can get information online at GoRunners.com. You can also buy tickets for that at ValleyTix.com. That show Thursday night at the Majestic Fox Theater, just a few steps away from our Roadrunner Rundown studios here. Well, and welcome in studio now as we're going to get to some of the highlights from their game this past weekend coming up. But to my left is women's basketball assistant coach Zack Grasmick, and next to him at the end there is Xavier Johnson, the associate head coach of CSUB women's basketball. Your team's won, 4 in a row now? 5 in a row?
4 in a row?
4 in a row.
Yeah, I think it's 4. Yeah.
Gentlemen, welcome to the program, and congrats again on another win on Saturday. You guys had to, down by 18, you had to kind of grind that one out, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. We sped them up a little bit. They only had about 3 guards, so we figured we'd try to speed them up and see if we could get them tired, and it ended up paying off just super late. I know the coaches were sitting over there stressing a little bit, but it was a good win.
Well, this was an interesting win because none of your starters really scored in the first half. Tana Outland didn't score until about 10 minutes in. So, I mean, what are you thinking in late in the game when your superstar hasn't really scored a point? And you guys were still in it, though.
Yeah, it was kind of exciting and kind of showed a lot of character for us. Going into halftime, that was the first thing that we had brought out was the fact that any of our starters had not one field goal. So for Ty to finish the game 1 for 19 and to then come back from 18, that was huge. If you had told me that before the game that we were going to be down 18 and Ty was going to shoot 1 for 19 and we were going to still win, I would have told you, nah, I didn't see that happening. So
But you check out the stat line, too, and Ty was, 1 for 19 or whatever, but she also had a huge assist down the stretch.
Yeah. Yes.
She had she contributed on, the final 8 points.
Yeah.
So, she didn't score, but she found a way to get it done, and, that's one of those things you always hear superstars talk about, like LeBron
Right.
and stuff, and getting other people involved and finding ways to make your teammates successful. And
Well,
that's
she
what
hit big
did.
free throws down the stretch, including a couple after she got clobbered and is on the floor injured, and then gets up and hits two big free throws. I mean, so she made some big plays down the stretch, even though, like you said, didn't show up in the box score per se.
Yeah, and she's showing toughness on numerous occasions, and all our girls have.
Yes.
We've got numerous girls playing through injury, and there's no excuses on their end. There's no one saying, "Oh, my back hurts, my ankle hurts." They're just finding ways to win ball games, and that's what good teams do.
I walked through you guys' practice yesterday, and it seemed like half the team was on the sideline kind of nursing injuries, but you guys have found a way, when the lights come on game day, to get everybody healthy enough to get some quality minutes. I mean, it's been kind of a crazy story early on.
Yeah, it's a long season, and so knowing that, in order for us to be successful, one, Ty's going to have to be healthy, Bada Bay is going to have to be healthy, and so is Q. And so if we can find some time and find some days where maybe we can just sit them down, we're definitely going to take advantage of that. And then what that does is also give some of our newcomers more repetition during practice. So it's a long season, and so hopefully going toward the end we'll have everybody there.
Here's what I've liked about your team, and it's something I've talked to some of the student athletes about, but they knew coming into the season that you guys were the preseason favorites in the WAC. It hasn't seemed to affect them at all. I mean, sometimes you have that, and teams will just say, yeah, we're, they'll just take it to heart that we're the best and expect things to happen for them, but that hasn't been your team. I mean, they've gone out and they've earned every victory you guys have so far.
We've got some really good leadership on our team. We've got Tiana Outland, who's she redshirted. She's been there, I think it's 5 years now. You got Deji Vines, the same thing. Brooke Hinkins, who's been there, from her freshman year on, and so you've got toughness there, you've got leadership there, and you've got girls there that aren't going to allow the other girls to take it for granted and to overlook certain people. So we've got all the right pieces. Whether it's on the floor, people who can do certain things, or in the locker room, players who are going to take control and make sure that we stay on straight. So, and
looking at the squad as well, some of the experience, you brought that up, but it seems like the newcomers have come right in and contributed big time, and especially I think Saturday was a good example. You needed the bench players to step up and some of the new faces, and it seemed like that was absolutely the case.
Yes, it's been good for players such as Haley Ford, who brings a lot of quickness and plays with a little edge. It's good for players like London. This was a huge game for her. She struggled a little bit in trying to find her role with the team, and so Coach McCall has been telling her, there are games down the road where we're gonna need you. And when things happen like Ty with a injury, and you have a player like Brittany Boyd, she can just flat out play. London did a really good job of stepping up and helping us defensively, and so and then even Erica Carmen, she's slowly but surely coming along. So it's been good.
And it seems like I said, balance from top to bottom. Really, I mean, there's been other games where your top scorers haven't scored, and you guys have still had scoring in the middle of the bench or scoring in your and finding a way to still win. Now you're going to go on the road, starting. Had a nice long homestand, took care of home court. That was good. But now you go on the road. You're going to start this week. You got a couple games in Nebraska, at Nebraska Omaha, and at the University of Nebraska as well. So what are your thoughts on that upcoming road trip?
It's going to be a cold one. I'm anticipating
it's
that.
It's not even that bad. I think you guys are lucking out. You're catching some 30-degree stuff.
Yeah,
you're okay.
Yeah, right.
It's cold enough.
Yeah. We start out with Nebraska Omaha.
Yeah.
They came out here last year, and I think we ended up beating them by about 7 points. It's definitely a team. They're going to run a lot of sets, and we can't really. And I know all this because it's my scout, but they run a lot of sets. We can't overlook them because they are playing at home. They'll be playing with a little edge. And we can't get too excited for Nebraska. We got to deal with that when that day comes. So it's going to be exciting for our girls. It's another opportunity to play against a big program. It's something that being an ex-athlete, you definitely look forward to the big games against the big competition because you want to play against the best. So it's going to be a fun trip, and I'm anticipating a good showing.
It seems like your team has played well against the quote-unquote bigger programs this year. Arizona, the win there. Arizona State, who is just a really good team. But it seems like your team likes to sort of answer the bell and answer that challenge.
I'll tell you what, Nebraska's my scout. And so it was good to step into practice yesterday and to hear Ty Outland and Bada Bay and Alyssa talking about the Nebraska team. And so we're actually going into this game thinking we can beat them, and it's a big difference, in comparison to last season when we went into Oregon and Oregon State. We didn't really know what to expect from the team and how we were even gonna play. So to have the attitude that we can actually go into this game and beat a top 15 team is huge. It's huge for the players. It's huge for us coaches. It's huge for the university. So we really want to go in here and put in a good showing. We believe that we can go in and we can knock them out. And so hopefully with the experience that we've had from Oregon State, Arizona State playing these big schools, we realize and know that we can actually play with them. So.
And we're kind of you've got a few more non-conference games, but then we get into January, and about a month from now, we're going to start getting into conference play, and that's when things really, really matter. Your thoughts on what have you seen any of the WAC teams play so far this year and what your thoughts on the conference so far?
I know we're all, me, Zay, Nikki, and G are always looking at our phones, following the other scores and communicating to each other. Oh, so-and-so won by this many, so-and-so lost by this many. So we're always aware. We're already kind of watching to see who the main contributors are for the teams in the conference, and it's going to be an exciting time. We know we're going in with a target on our back, so it just means more preparation on the coaches' end, more preparation on the players' end, and you don't want to be that team who was picked to win it all, and you go in and you don't
Exactly.
produce. So we're making sure the girls stay hungry and they understand that they haven't earned anything yet. So we've still got to go in and do the job.
What are and obviously there's a couple good teams, but I know a lot of people are looking at the matchups obviously against Seattle and UTPA is really some of your toughest competition coming up in the WAC. Would that be accurate for the most part?
Yeah, I would also say Utah Valley. They have a pretty big girl that gave us fits last season. So, but like Zach said, we have the X on our back. So. We consider all of them a problem, and so it's going to be great. It's going to be good. Our girls are really hungry. I think that loss last season to Seattle in the WAC tournament really set the tone for us because we actually thought that we could win the WAC then because we were the only team to beat Idaho, and so that was a big blow for us. And I think going into this season, being picked number one, the coaches have done a really good job of keeping everybody hungry and staying even keel. So we're really looking forward to going through our WAC schedule and just taking game by game, and hopefully at the end we'll be at the top.
Now, real quick, I know this program has a little bit of a of the local touch as far as Craig McCall having gone here, Zach having gone here and played here, and so it's got to be pretty cool now to be coaching a team that is a preseason conference favorite and playing really well right now as well, especially because your connection to the university.
Yeah, absolutely. I played. I was part of the transition, so I've been a part of some of the rougher years, and even when I came over to the women's side, Coach McCall's first year, we had some injuries, and but it's been a progression. Every year we've added things. Every year we've gotten better. We've added better players. We've added people to the staff, and it's headed in the right direction, and it's great to be a part of a winning program, someone that's picked to finish. Just it feels like all the work and the time I put in, and I know Coach McCall feels the same way to the university. It's paying off, and it's paying us back. So, and there is that local feel. This guy's an outlier, but us Bakersfield people, we'll take him.
Yeah, adding a lot to the staff for sure. Well, Xavier Johnson, Zack Grasmick, thank you guys so much for joining us on the program, and good luck in Nebraska. I was there last year. I don't envy you. So good luck, and hope we pick up a couple wins. And that Saturday game against Nebraska is going to be on the Big 10 network as well. So folks can watch it on TV.
Oh man, you should not have told Zach. Watch this game and see this suit. Just turn it on. You might have on some white shoes. Check this out.
The suits do, like, programs like ours that aren't on TV all the time. When they know they're on TV, it's like all the coaches are like straight out of a magazine.
Yeah.
I think our first time with baseball, back in 2009, the first year of baseball, the first time they were on TV, they were on the Big 10 network playing at Nebraska, as a matter of fact. And all the guys were like, we're on TV. They were writing messages on their tape. They just didn't know what it was like to be on TV before. So
I won't come out too loud.
All of a sudden, someone's coaching in a tuxedo on the sidelines. We know who that is. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining us. Have a safe trip, and we'll talk to you again soon. All right, Zack Grasmick, Xavier Johnson here on Roadrunner Rundown. We're going to step away and take a break. Interim AD Ziggy Siegfried joins us next. We're going to recap the fall season, and a good one at that, and some other good news as well on the athletics department side. Stick around. We'll be back. It's Roadrunner Rundown.
One thing about living in Kern County is all the great schools.
East High! BHS! EC! CSU!
And no matter what school you go to, there's still one thing.
One thing! One thing!
We can all agree on. Kern Schools is the #1 financial institution in all of Kern County.
Take advantage of our auto rates as low as 1.99 APR with no payments up to 90 days.
Kern Schools, the biggest little credit union in town.
I am not going to ask him about funguses.
Fungi.
Honey, have you called Gunlocks about fixing that toilet upstairs?
You know, I saw a plumbing episode on the Fix It channel. Yeah, I can fix it.
You could try it yourself, or you could just call Gunlax and save your marriage.
Hey, honey, I think I did it.
Gunlax, 327-3052.
That wasn't so bad.
We've never done marketing. It seems to be a little intimidating. You don't know what's available. You think you're going to sell your first child, or it's going to be really expensive to do. But Heather really described everything in a way that we knew exactly what we were doing. There was no questions about it. She was very clear.
I really enjoyed that Heather took her time to get to know us as a family, get to know our business. From anyone that I do meet, I like to get to know them.
We knew exactly what we were getting into, but really the results of it was far more than we ever expected. I think it brought us to the forefront of most people's mind. So they heard our name, and then all of the videos and pictures, the Bakersfield Live, put a face to the name, and they were able to connect that and know what our product was, but also know us as a family.
Because of the Bakersfield Californian and because of Heather, generated so much buzz about our restaurant that we couldn't have done it alone.
We pursue excellence in the classroom and strive to achieve our potential. We compete on the field with integrity, on the court with respect,
and in the pool with distinction.
We are strong leaders in our community and gain values from our biggest fans.
We continue the legacy of commitment to our universities, to our coaches, to our teammates, and most importantly to you.
We learn, we compete, we inspire.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
The Roadrunner Scholarship Fund creates educational opportunities for over 300 student athletes at CSUB. By becoming a member and donating to the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund, you're not only helping the Roadrunners fund the scholarship needs of our teams, you're investing in the future. The Roadrunner Scholarship Fund isn't just developing student athletes, we're developing tomorrow's leaders from lessons learned during competition. For more information, log on to gorunners.com/donate and become a member of the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund.
Welcome back into Roadrunner Rundown. My thanks to Xavier Johnson, Zack Grasmick, CSU women's basketball. They're on the road this weekend. A couple games in Nebraska. They'll be back on December the 21st, taking on UNLV at the Icardo Center. Should be a good game there, and they got a couple home games in that stretch, and then they'll be getting into conference play here shortly. But again, they got 2 in Nebraska this week, including one at Nebraska Omaha, one at the University of Nebraska on Saturday, televised on the Big Ten Network. Joining us now in studio is our interim athletics director, Ziggy Siegfried, and we had a phenomenal fall.
Yeah, I think we had a very good fall.
We were 2 penalty kicks away from a tremendous fall, really, if you think about it.
I'll definitely go with that.
Yeah.
And I know we'll talk academics, but I would say, not just on the court, but also off the field.
Yeah, let's talk performance. I just kind of want to go kind of through every team. Now, this was the first. It's all obviously only our second year in the WAC, but the first fall in the WAC where every sport made the conference tournament, which you got to earn your spot in there. So every sport makes a conference tournament, and then of course it's culminated by volleyball winning the conference tournament that was hosted in Bakersfield. I mean, you probably couldn't have written that script any better, could you?
No, it was a special season because you saw the team. I just remember watching them preseason, and I was thinking, okay, she's implementing a new system. This could be interesting.
Girls are running into each other on the court, and you're like, oh, Lord, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they just got better and better every game. And quite frankly, Coach Mello predicted that. She said, Ziggy, here's what's going to happen when I met one-on-one with her. And she came through. They came through big time, and it was a special season for our volleyball team.
Yeah, and it was something too where they had a bit of a rough patch middle of the year, and they were honoring the 25th anniversary of the national championship team. And they had said, look, we weren't that good going into the West Regionals, but we were hosting at home, and we knew just because we were playing at home was going to help. And they kind of put that message on to their team as well, this squad this year, about it, saying, hey, you're playing your conference tournament at home. You have an advantage over everybody else, and that seemed to really be the case. And they played very strong at home in closing out the championship.
Yeah, they did. And I'll tell you, the team did great. We had great leadership with our seniors, our 5 seniors. And we've said this kind of all along, even before Coach Mello got here. She's just a winner.
Yeah,
she knows how to win, and that's what she did in her first year. So I'm even more excited about next year and years to come.
Yeah, well, and next year get its chance to recruit a few more of our athletes. So we'll see where that program goes. And then a good showing in the NCAA tournament for them. And they play Stanford, who was the number 1 overall seed, but 25-21, 25-21, and 25-18. I mean, they lose 3-0, but they had a chance to win every one of those games, it seemed like.
Yeah, and quite frankly, they couldn't stop Kelsey or Danica.
Yeah.
Every time those 2 were hitting the ball, they just couldn't be stopped. It was a blast, and we had a good showing, and we appreciate our fans being there.
Yeah, so the second overall NCAA tournament appearance, the first as a member of the WAC, the first WAC tournament championship as well, so that was great for volleyball. Women's soccer showed improvement. I mean, they made the conference tournament this year, had a couple more victories. Coach Kernine and his squad, didn't get a chance to really work with much of anything they brought in, but I think made the best of what they had to work with this year.
They did, and Gary Kernine definitely was not satisfied. We know that. But he took a step in the right direction for our program. And just a side note, with Gary, he 100% of the time is focused on long-term results.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I like. He's building a culture that I think is going to produce a lot of victories in the future.
Yeah, so it was a good fall for them as far as where they're coming from and where they win. And then you have the men's soccer side of things, a team that hit a rough patch in conference play, which is the worst thing you can really do. They lose 4 games in a row, but they come back and they come roaring back, and they earn themselves a shot at a conference championship that came down to penalty kicks, and that was the difference maker in their season. I mean, it was a heck of a run.
It was. I was there, and it was an absolute blast. The guys, again, senior leadership pulled through there, and I think they're going to have memories, for a lifetime on how that finished.
Yeah, and some good home dates as well. I mean, we put whatever it was, over 2,000 in for a soccer match on the October when they hosted San Jose State, and a good result. A lot of people got a chance to really get exposed to the product that we put on the field, and I think that was a success as well overall in the fall season.
It was, and our men's soccer program is heading in the right direction under Coach Grant. And I tell you, I mean, it just almost brings tears to my eyes thinking back. We're playing in the semifinals versus the host Seattle, it goes to penalty kicks. You know, we have a goalie who had not played in several games, who came in for penalty kicks, makes unbelievable saves, and we win on Seattle's home field. And I'll never forget. I'm glad you got that on video. So we'll be watching that for a long time to come. But it was a special finish for them.
Yeah, and a good season, I think, overall on the men's soccer side. So like I mentioned, we were a couple penalty kicks away from a tremendous fall season with 2 WAC championships instead of the one. But the one we will definitely take. Now off the field as well, it was a pretty successful fall. I know grades are kind of getting finalized, but academically, it was a pretty strong quarter for everybody.
Yeah, and we're expecting for grades to be 100% final this week. But what I can tell you is we got some good news already. It looks like we're going to have more than 50% of our student athletes who ended up above a 3.0.
That's crazy.
So about 158 of our 315 student athletes above a 3.0, which if you just compare that, to previous years, that doesn't happen. And that doesn't happen across a lot of athletics departments.
Yeah.
And that's a tribute to Dina Freeman and her, I'm going to get in trouble for that one. Dina Freeman Patton for her leadership in that area, our coaches, our student athletes. And if you want to see something that's forward moving, it's our academics right now. Another example, we've doubled the number of our student athletes who are receiving ongoing tutoring. So we've made an investment in academics, and it's paying off.
Yeah, and it's impressive to have over 50% 3.0 because it's not easy to do. I mean, I've just on a limited basis returned for in a master's program and in taking 2 classes and working a full-time job. Essentially, our student athletes are working a full-time job and taking a full load of classes, and it's like, man, where do they find the time to get homework done and stuff like that? But they're doing it, which really it kind of being immersed back in the world a little bit is make it a little bit more impressive.
Yeah, it is. I tell you, their schedule's unbelievable. And our advisors are right there with them. I mean, a lot of them are traveling up to the games. If you look at Nadine Griffin the other day at women's basketball, she's right there on the bench with the whole team, cheering them on to victory. And it's fun. It's that family atmosphere that we've built here.
Yeah, for sure. And the academic stuff really came from a university measure. I mean, just to help help that area and help the academics of the student athletes. Because, look, 6 years ago, maybe it was 5-6 years ago, there was nothing in the academic support. It was coaches doing it all. And now there's a full staff and an academic center for the student athletes to call home.
Yeah, that's it. And also, I don't want to not mention Dr. Jacqueline Kegley. I mean, our former FAR who made a significant contribution to get the Kegley Center established, and she's been great. And our leadership and Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Wallace have also helped with that investment in academics. So there's a lot of people involved. There's a lot of behind the scenes building up this academic program, and I'm telling you, it's working.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good results as a matter of fact. And then it just looks like as the trend in if academics is successful, graduation rates can be successful as well. I know that's moving in the right direction now as well.
And we're tracking on it very closely. I have a nice little spreadsheet. So.
Doing very well, and we expect to have good results out of the graduations. And just we just had another former player graduate. I know Corey Hall got done in the winter quarter from men's basketball, and so he graduated as well. So he got his degree. So I think Coach Barnes is now 7 for 7 as far as seniors go in his program that he's coached to get a degree, which is pretty impressive. So.
Yeah, and I think he's going to have at the end of this year he'll have a total of 4 more graduates from our men's basketball program. He's building that program too.
Yeah, academically they've been very strong here recently. So all right, well you're going with the women's basketball team, right, to Nebraska?
I am. I'm looking forward to it.
Enjoy that.
I will definitely
enjoy, and you'll appreciate the fact you live in Bakersfield. Let me tell you, you'll be like, yeah, I can't wait to go back to the 60-degree winter days instead of the 16-degree winter days. All right, well, safe travels, and we'll keep in touch here as the winter quarter gets underway, and we get into the meat and potatoes of the winter sports season as well.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, Corey.
All right, Ziggy Siegfried here on Roadrunner Rundown. Don't forget Scholarship Fund concert coming up on Thursday at the Majestic Fox Theater. Tickets still available at valleytix.com. We're going to step away and take a break. We will wrap the show with the news and the highlights from this past weekend. A lot of stuff to get to. We'll be back. This is Roadrunner Rundown.
One thing about living in Kern County is all the great schools.
East High! BHS! EC! CSU!
And no matter what school you go to, there's still one thing.
One thing! One thing!
We can all agree on. Kern Schools is the #1 financial institution in all of Kern County.
Take advantage of our auto rates as low as 1.99 APR with no payments up to 90 days.
Kern Schools, the biggest little credit union in town.
I am not going to ask him about funguses.
Fungi. Honey, have you called Gunlox about fixing that toilet upstairs?
You know, I saw a plumbing episode on the Fix It channel. Yeah, I can fix it.
You could try it yourself, or you could just call Gunlax and save your marriage.
Hey, honey, I think I did it.
Gunlax, 327-3052.
That wasn't so bad.
This is dignity. The smile given to a sick child. The steps taken to find a cure. Future leaders learning to make a difference. Humanitarians who give from the heart. And a love that comes from above. At Mercy and Memorial Hospitals, dignity is more than just a word. It's who we are.
Save 50 to 90% with the Bakersfield Californians Daily Deal featured on Bakersfield.com. A daily deal is offered each weekday on services from local restaurants, dry cleaners, health and beauty services, retail shops, and local activities for the entire family. The daily deal is 100% local. Find these amazing deals only at dailydeal.bakersfield.com.
Live in concert, Thursday evening, December 11th, at the majestic Fox Theater. #1 country recording artist Easton Corbin, plus special guest Truxton Miles. Presented by CSU Roadrunner Athletics and Motor City Auto Sales. Tickets on sale at the Fox Theater box office in all Valley Tix outlets.
In a fertile valley, a growing university with record enrollment and graduates serving the needs of a thriving community, a tradition of athletic excellence. Now a part of the Western Athletic Conference. CSU Bakersfield.
Welcome back to Roadrunner Rundown. Thanks so much for joining us. I was just swooping into the last segment of the program. My thanks to Easton Corbin joining us on the program in the first segment. He's playing Thursday night at the Fox Theater. Truxton Miles, his opening act, 7:30. Tickets are available at valleytix.com. Proceeds benefit the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund. Xavier Johnson, Zack Grasmick for women's basketball, and of course our athletics director Ziggy Siegfried joining us in the last segment, recapping the fall and both on the field and court and academically as well. Very successful. 2 thumbs up on the fall for the Roadrunners. Okay, now time to get to all the stuff we normally do at the top of the show, are our highlights and news, and we talked about a lot of them, so let's just actually show them. We'll start with women's basketball. Runners in the midst of a 3-game winning streak. They held off UC Irvine Wednesday night. Now Saturday, Riverside in town is struggling in the first half. It was all Riverside as they hit some big shots early. In the post, no cakewalk for Badabe Zampari. She's off the bench, 3 rebounds here, and finally a score to cut the Riverside lead to 6. Tana Outland, the team's leading scorer, struggling in the first half. The miss here in traffic, and then CSUB, a couple more misses. They're going to send it out to Erica McCall. That's not going to go, or Erica Williams. That's not going to go. Let's see, another rebound here from Outland over to Brooke Hinkins. Back to Outland. That shot's not going to go. And then finally cleaned up by Brittany Sims down low in the post as the Runners just having trouble early offensively in this one against Riverside. Here's another miss from Tana Outland, a bad miss, and another rebound in the post for Bakersfield, then to UC Riverside, and that turned into an offensive rebound for the Highlanders. Off the glass, Akila Martin with the finish as well for the Highlanders. And then Outland getting blocked here on an next attempt, but fortunately Julius Rutherford in the area, I should say, for the putback. CSUB still trailing by 12 at the half. There it is right there. Not a good half For the Roadrunners, second half, UC Riverside extending the lead to as many as 18 points, but the comeback was on. Brooke Hinkins down to Badabe Zampare and 1. And then Alyssa Shannon. Don't sleep on her because she's lights out Alyssa if you do that. On the drive and the finish. Runners trailing by 6 late in the game. Shannon again from the top of the key for 3. It's a 3-point game. Timeout Riverside. Look at Shakita Smith. That's a hug right there. Picking Alyssa Shannon off the ground. Down to Badabe Zampare. Getting the shooter's roll and 1. And we are tied. Riverside back up by 2 with 11 seconds to play. Outland misses the first shot, gets her own rebound, and then draws contact and somehow gets that shot to fall. We are tied as Outland is going crazy. Outland now, calm down though, hits the game-winning free throw, and the Runners come back from 18 down, win 66-65.
Hard. And we had to, go to a press in order to kind of get things back the tempo that we like to play, which is up and down. And my assistant coaches and I, we came up with the game plan. They was like, hey, why don't we try our press and try to speed this thing up. And so I kind of told the girls in a previous timeout that, hey, we're going to, go to our press, which we call fire, kind of light a little fire under ourselves first of all, and then light one under them and get the tempo changed. And that's what we did. And they fought hard and they played really hard and together. And at halftime, and I looked at the stats, and we were out in the hallway, and my assistant, they was like, man, none of our starting 5 have even scored. And I looked at it and I was like, wow. So, I stayed poised when I went into the locker room and told the ladies, I was like, hey, this is the first time. I was like, none of our starting 5, our first unit hasn't scored a bucket yet. And I was like, the score is only, I think they had at halftime 29-17. I was like, 29-17. We got 17 points, they got 29. You take away some of their free throws that they made, they'll be like at 24 points or something like that. It was something crazy. And I was like, our defense is doing its job. We got to put the ball in the basket. I said, but that's not going to happen in the second half. We'll score some buckets. I said, good job to our bench, because our bench was doing a good job, which Bada Bay and Q and Haley, they came off the bench and was doing some really good job. And so second half, I knew our starting 5 would get involved. It was just a matter of time.
Yes, it was definitely hard, but I wanted to take the same shots I was shooting every game. Some nights the ball is not just going to fall, so I knew I had to get some kicks, and it opened up the drives, and eventually I knew that it would fall, and it felt like the most important part.
So the Roadrunners beat the Highlanders 66-65 in the final seconds and improved to 6-1 on the season. Tana Outland not a factor until late. She got it done, though. CSUB sweeps their homestand. They are now 6-1. Upcoming for the Roadrunners, they are going to Nebraska. First in Nebraska, Omaha, Thursday night at 7 o'clock Central Time. Then at the University of Nebraska, Saturday at 2 o'clock Central. That game live on the Big 10 network. On to men's basketball, the Roadrunners at home concluding their homestand Saturday night. Listen to the Icardo Center. It was jammed and it was rocking for the Runners against Fresno State. Big game for Deshaun Richmond, who was both offensive and defensive early, as Richmond going to get a steal here. He is going to go coast to coast and put the Roadrunners up 4 early on. He wasn't done, though, as the Roadrunners going to work the ball patiently on the outside, and the Runners did a good job of this in the first half. Fresno State very long and athletic. Bakersfield, though, still finding a way to get open looks as Richmond has the ball poked to him here. He's going to drive and finish once again, and the Runners, Richmond, had a team-high 20 in the game. Bakersfield shared the ball well in the first half because it wasn't just Richmond off the bench. It was also players like Craig Jones, as the Runners going to find a way to swing the ball around once again. Jones in the post off the bench, and Jones going to get the feed here for CSUB as Rapp finds Jones. Jones, nice jump hook in the paint, and Bakersfield gets it going to the post, and the Runners have a 5-point lead, and then Richmond off the inbound. Count it, CSUB with an 8-point lead in the first half. Inside of 8 left in the half, a Roadrunner steal coming up here as well from Ty Corbin. That finishes in transition. Runners led by as many as 9.5. And the Bulldogs, though, after a timeout right here, they're going to start getting it going. 4 minutes in the half, Terrell Carter, as the Bulldogs dump it down low to their big man. He's going to get the jumper down low. And then off a Roadrunner missed 3-pointer from the corner, CSUB going to have one hit against them. Fresno State knocking it down as they start to chip into the lead. Off the inbound now here for the Bulldogs, still trailing by a couple. They're going to work to the top, and then they're going to get it to Karachi Ito on the play as well. He's going to hit the jumper, and that's going to be a 1-point game. And then Marvell Harris, who scored 27 in the game, here from 17 feet out to give Fresno State a 7-0 run and a 26-25 halftime lead. Second half, CSU back on top early as the Roadrunners are going to find Kevin Mays on this play off the screen. Mays hits a 16-footer. As they retake the lead. Then they would continue to do a good job of working the ball to the red-hot Deshaun Richmond as he stepped steps inside the arc for another 2. CSUB leads by 6. But Fresno State chips away, and it's a 4-point game with just over 4 to play as Harris hits another tough shot to make it a 2-point game. Big possession coming up for the Roadrunners, and wouldn't you know it happens again. Corbin drives, has it poked away, a steal, a turnover, leads to a score for Fresno State. We're tied at 59 apiece, but the Roadrunners going to feed Ali Ahmed down low. Ahmed with less than a minute to play hits the left-hander. Runners lead 61-59. Fresno State, though, right back to the post as well. They hit Terrell Carter. Risky pass, but he makes it happen. We are tied at 61 apiece. Runners then with the possession. Look, Deshaun Richmond falls down. He calls a timeout. They didn't have one left. You can see Richmond on one knee calling a timeout. That's a technical foul with none left in the bank. And Fresno State's Marvell Harris is going to hit the free throw here as the Runners dejected after losing this one, handing it to Fresno State. Last-ditch effort from Richmond. Hits the back of the rim. You see Ali Ahmed slightly frustrated with that result. Runners drop another close one, 63-61.
That's the focus that I've told our team from the very beginning, that we had to get better as a team. And I thought tonight we played better. We played a better team, though. And I think, we're gaining some confidence on some things that we're not confident in early. Play a team like that with that kind of size, and I think we out-rebounded. We had better assists than they did. The difference in the game was free throw makes. We got to the line probably the most that we've gotten this year as far as free throws. So, there's some encouraging things, but we got some things to do. We had some tough things. We turned the ball over there twice at the end of the game. But I thought our guys played with a little bit more confidence in the last 4 minutes. So I feel better about this game than I did the last game. But obviously it's not enough. So
the Runners drop their fourth game by less than 4 points and 5 by less than 5. They fall 63-61 to Fresno State. Roadrunners on the road this weekend. They also lost 59-58 a game before to UC Riverside. It's been that kind of week. Maybe the road will fix things. The Runners on the road at Portland State this weekend. They tip off at 1 o'clock in Portland. On to CSUB volleyball. The Roadrunners falling in the first round of the NCAA tournament despite playing tough against number 1 overall Stanford. But the folks from the Bakersfield happy to welcome back the volleyball team to the Icardo Center on Saturday. The fans waiting along with the band for the Roadrunners to arrive as a hero's welcome for CSUB, pulling in after losing 25-21, 25-21, and 25-18 to the best team in the country. They were right there as the Runners very close in that their first ever NCAA tournament. As you see Louisa Martins and a few other of the Roadrunners coming off the bus after the Stanford loss. But they represented well. Here's Danica Youngblood and Kelsey Sawyer on the experience of playing in the NCAA tournament.
Honestly, we just had a blast the whole time, and we were just fearless and had nothing to lose, so it was just a lot of fun. Yeah, we left extremely proud, and I have no regrets throughout the season, and everything kind of went really well for us, so I feel really happy. You'd think I'd be crying because it's the end, but I feel really proud of our team, and it was great.
Just proud to have the opportunity that we did, and I feel like we embraced it, and we played really well against the top team, and it was exciting. We broke every expectation that we had, and we just peaked at the right time, and it was a great way to end the year. I'm proud of my team a lot, for sure.
So the Roadrunners losing at number 1 Stanford 3-0, but a very good, despite losing, a good showing for Bakersfield. They lose 3-0 in the NCAA tournament. Their season comes to an end, but congratulations on a great season and a Western Athletic Conference championship as well. Hey, next week on the program, we're going to have a couple gentlemen in the studio. Ian Nickel going to join us from CSU Wrestling. He's coming off a 6th-place finish at the Cliff Keen Invitational in Las Vegas. He placed for the Roadrunners. He's getting ready for the always tough Reno Tournament of Champions coming up next week. So we'll talk with Ian in studio. We'll kind of preview that tournament, recap his season, but he is one of the leaders on the CSUB wrestling team, and we'll also kind of preview. They're back in home action in January, so we'll talk about some of those coming up as well. Also, CSUB alum and Boston Red Sox organization pitcher Mike McCarthy will join us in studio next week. He's back at it with the Baseball Miracles fundraiser. It was a great fundraiser last year through Lengthwise, and we will talk with him about that. And Baseball Miracles doing some very cool things around the globe to kind of help underprivileged children learn the game of baseball. They're doing an equipment drive as well as a fundraiser through Lengthwise coming up next week. Late next week, so we will chat with Mike in studio early next week to talk about that fundraiser as well. And of course, we'll have all the highlights from men's and women's basketball on the road and much more next week on the program. So join us for that, and you can also get the show anytime online at GoRunners.com. Archived editions of the program available on demand. Don't forget Easton Corbin in concert Thursday night at the majestic Fox Theater. The proceeds benefit the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund, a very, very successful fundraiser last year. Looking to make it 2 in a row. Good tickets are still available. Not a lot of them, but you can check it out at valleytix.com or visit the Fox Theater box office or the Emporium Western store to get your tickets. Don't be sold out of that concert. And I got a chance to intro both Truxton Mile, who was in studio last week, and Easton Corbin, who was on the phone a little bit earlier on stage. So again, I'll be the least talented person on stage, but you'll get over it once those guys start playing music. Going to be a great time. And again, that's going to benefit the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund, and tickets at valleytix.com. And you can follow us online at GoRunners.com and on social media, Facebook.com/CSUB Roadrunners, on Twitter and Instagram at CSUB Athletics. My thanks to Easton Corbin, Xavier Johnson, Zack Grasmick, and Ziggy Siegfried for joining us on today's program. Don't forget next week, Ian Nickel and Mike McCarthy joining us to talk fundraisers and wrestling, and two different things, but they're going to talk about those things next week on the show, and a little bit more as well. Make sure you join us next week here on Bakersfield.com and GoRunners.com. Thanks so much for joining us again, folks. This has been Roadrunner Rundown.